It's your number one indie radio chick, Tonya B, and I want you to join me every Friday and Saturday, 8 and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and Saturday at noon Eastern Time for the Byrdwire. It is hands down, bar none, the undisputed home of the best new and classic indie music. I've got new indie tracks from every corner of the globe. R&B, Southern Soul, clean hip-hop, and even a splash of smooth jazz. So come on, get in, get on, and get heard. Come fly with your girl on the Byrdwire, right here on the Castropolis Podcast Network.
The next time you drive through Central Georgia, we've got a radio station we think you'll love. We're Magic 100, playing all of the songs you grew up with. You'll find us at 100.1 FM. That's 100.1. On I-75, you can tune us in from the north at Locust Grove and from the south when you get to Perry. 100.1 FM. Classic soul hits. Magic 100.
This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 170 of This is the G Podcast. And just got to say what's up to the Lady Tigers of LSU, man. Just awesome national champions over Iowa as we tape. Just checking out the screen, and that's happening. So congrats to the Lady Tigers. Angel Reese, good game. Also, we're going to get into it. We're going to go ahead and do news with Syracuse Mike and come back. We've got Harold Michael Harvey here, of course, and the one and only Tonya B is in the building, and we're going to talk about the biggest news this week, as you all know. But I got to say a couple of things. Another 30 lost to Around the Storms across the South. And again, we're in that season. Hearts go out to the folks out there who are dealing with that. And we'll get into a little bit of that. But main reason is I've invited political analyst Harold Michael Harvey to drop in. The story of the week is the biggest story in the history of the U.S. Former president indicted, never before, an American first, and we're going to go and get into it. And we'll talk to Harold Michael Harvey and Tonya B in just a moment. But let's go ahead and do news with Syracuse Mike, and we'll come right back.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
For the first time in American history, a former president has been indicted. A grand jury in New York likely indicted Donald Trump over a hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels. But there is speculation that there is more to the case. That won't be known until the indictment is unsealed. In the meantime, Trump's political team believes it can turn the indictment into a campaign positive, at least in the short term. In New York, police are preparing for protests by his supporters, especially at the time of Trump's arraignment, which is expected on Tuesday.
You know, I just want to go ahead and get into that. Again, I've invited political analyst Harold Michael Harvey in to help us make sense. It is the biggest story of the week, if not, again, the biggest story in history. Harold Michael Harvey, you're here. We were having the conversation, and I was kind of joking around. And I said, well, this is a good time for them to make this announcement right at the beginning of baseball. And what did you say? What did you say to that?
I don't remember.
Well, you said, look, this is history. I mean, this trumps baseball, and it truly does. It's a first for America. It's an American first. A president indicted is huge. So
never before in history, and it does trump history.
Yeah.
We've never seen this before, and we're walking on rarefied air right now.
Yeah.
The country can go right off a cliff, or we could stabilize and be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So true. And I'm going to come back to you. And again, Tonya B, you all set? Because things are moving and twisting.
I know.
And
can
flipping.
You hear me now?
And are you ready?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, we can hear you. Just be still. It's okay. It's okay. It's good. It's good.
I'm still somewhere in America, so I will not disclose my location.
Yeah, so you're good wherever you are. Just get up on the mic. And let me ask you first. Tonya B is here. Y'all give it up for the one and only Tonya B in the building. Yes, she's okay. You don't need to move.
I'm still on the road.
She's still on the road. But you can stream the Byrdwire every Friday and Saturday night, 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Castropolis.net. And again, we do the encore Saturday at noon, plus get it on demand right now. This week's episode is at castropolis.net. Click the Byrdwire logo. And, I'm going to come back to you, Tonya B. Go ahead and mute yourself, Tonya B.
Okay.
Just go ahead and mute yourself, and we'll come back to you when you get yourself tightened up there, okay? Let me go to you, Harold Michael Harvey. Big thing, man. Again, all things Harold Michael Harvey are at haroldmichaelharvey.com. What specific charges do you think we'll see coming out of this?
It's hard to, well, we know there's going to be some charge that has to do with accepting, at least paying out money for a hush payment, and that tied to campaign funds.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to imagine, it's difficult to say what other charges there will be.
Yeah.
Now, the Trump's Republican supporters are saying that it's a nothing case, and that Alan Bragg, the district attorney in New York, really doesn't have a case. But, Alan Bragg came into that case and he looked at it and said, well, wait a minute, before I put my name on this case, because the case was ready to go when he came in the office, when he was sworn in, there was a case already against Trump ready to go. And that was
Cyrus Vance. Am I correct? That was
Cyrus Vance's investigation, and his team of assistant district attorneys had come to the conclusion that that Trump had committed a crime or a series of crimes, and that they should go forward with an indictment. And Braggs comes in and he says, well, wait a minute, before I put my name on that, I've got to check this out for myself.
Yeah.
And he was very deliberate. He took his time, and probably over a year. And then, now we learn that the grand jury has heard evidence and that there has been an indictment. We don't know what is contained in the indictment, but I would speculate, given the fact that Bragg took his time and looked at everything all over again, that he has specific allegations of illegal acts committed by Trump that he can prove.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that what we will see Tuesday when the indictment is unfold is that Bragg has come up with a very tight case against Donald Trump. Things that he has evidence that he can present to a jury, and they can say, you can look at the law and says the law says that you can't do this, and the evidence says that this was done.
Yeah.
And so I think they've scripted a very tight document to indict the president, and it's not going to be any kind of laughing matter or anything that Trump's political supporters can just toss under the rug, saying that it is all political, because that's what they're saying today.
Yeah.
That it's all political. But I think Bragg has fashioned a legal case against the former president.
And I'll say this to you: when Vance stepped down, there were concerns, at least from what I saw, that Bragg would not take it this far, because he had said at one point he wasn't going to pursue it. There were chances he would not pursue it. So you'd have to think that there's enough evidence there compelling enough to say, I cannot not pursue this. And let me say, for a lot of folks, we really, and honestly, over the last few months and even the year, I've really avoided doing a lot of Trump talk. I started this podcast, or doing a podcast that included politics, back in 2016. I was doing the GP3 podcast. And when we started the podcast, it was his initial run for president with Hillary, and myself ran and Tut. And, so I've seen it from 2016, so many things occur. The bus, the Access Hollywood situation, so many things that people looked at and said, damn, if this was anybody else, and the other thing is, when you hear the Republicans try to make him a martyr and say that it's a witch hunt, look at all the things. They're all self-inflicted, from the impeachment, the twice impeached situation where, even when you look at the quote unquote, the collusion situation with Ukraine, again, look at the Mueller investigation. Mueller never really said he was off the hook. He never said he was off the hook, Then you go into what we're dealing with Stormy Daniels, the fact that his attorney was arrested for something that he was involved in, and he was individual one in the case with the attorney. And then you look at the fact that we've got the case in Fulton County with audio, with 2 pieces of audio now. So it's hard for me. Look, and I'll say this: if the guy wins, he wins. Fair enough. Whoever's president. I don't think anybody should go to the length of, trying to cripple anybody's presidency. But damn, it's like hey, look, Harold Michael Harvey. I've been following this. Specifically, I have done over 315 episodes, okay, that have probably included something involved with this guy. Enough is a damn enough. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, come on. You understand what I'm saying? So I can imagine, I hear that these guys are making an attempt to make him a martyr, to raise money, because since they've been making him a martyr, he's raised about $4 million. But for those of us who have been following this weekly and saying, damn, he did what?
I have a question, Mr. Harvey. This $4 million that they got in, was it like in a day or so? Now, they're saying that is for his campaign. Is it illegal? And I don't know, I'm political illiterate. I'm not a lawyer.
No,
I don't play one on TV. Yes, I am.
Come on.
No, but I'm saying no. But if he takes, now, is it misappropriation of funds? If he takes the funds that people have been donating this week for his re-election campaign and uses them to pay personal bills, legal bills, or any other bills or anything that is not associated with the campaign allegedly, is that illegal or is that close to crossing the line?
I don't think you can use campaign funds for personal matters, but there may be an argument made that legal fees may be appropriate. He has to beat back the criminal charges, this indictment, in order to have a viable candidacy. So he may be able to make some argument about that, but certainly not for personal things. And what he's actually been charged with is taking campaign contributions and paying the hush money to Stormy Daniels.
And don't forget this, and there's another woman too. People are talking Stormy's front and center, but then there's that other woman, that Playboy model that he gave $150,000 to keep her quiet. And she's been getting a whole lot less press than Stormy Daniels, and she's much easier on the eye. But anyway, she is saying, oh no, there were real feelings there. We were in love. And I'm like, girl, bye. Of course he denies it. Yeah. So it's interesting that here's somebody, and this was the girl that the lady that, at that time, Trump knew the owner of the National Enquirer. She was going to sell her story. It was going to go on the Enquirer. And the guy that Trump was friends with that owned the Enquirer squashed the story.
Yeah.
Well, these are the only 2 we know about.
There you go. That we know.
There are probably multiple people out there whose story, was squashed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, and you've written books, and I remember you were talking about the paper puzzle, and you're an author. Okay, so I want you to put your author's hat on for just a minute. Mm-hmm. What do you think the consequences are of a Trump of him being found guilty in this situation? And I know you can't. And this is only from a political standpoint. I'm asking you to just hypothetically.
I think it'll be bedlam in the country. We'll get a good indication on Tuesday what will happen if he is subsequently convicted of these charges. But I think his supporters will just go berserk, and I think one of the things I think our community have to be very vigilant when it comes to soft targets. I think his people have learned a lesson. At least they know that they're not going to be able to storm a government facility like they did on January the 6th.
Yeah.
But I think that anger will be so bottled up inside of them that they will get back at a group of people that they believe are at fault for what happened to their hero.
All right, and they're already blaming Bragg. It's like, oh, the black guy did it. The black guy did it. And before that, it was, all the other, anybody who was of color that was trying to call him on his ish, it was their fault. And now who are you going to blame next? The Asian Americans? You're going to blame the Jewish people?
Well, they're blaming the Jewish people pretty much. I mean, with the George Soros attack.
Yeah. So I think our churches have to be very vigilant.
Yeah, I agree.
I think our schools have to be very vigilant. And I think our communities have to be very vigilant. I think there's going to be violence, but I believe that that the Trump supporters will target that violence at soft targets.
Let me ask you, because we're Happy Palm Sunday. To those who celebrate Palm Sunday, and of course Easter's coming up. The evangelical community has not been vocal in terms of backing Trump this time around. As a matter of fact, he's been more vocal about the fact that he's upset that they're not vocal about his run for 2024. And I'm glad you mentioned the church. Why has the church not said to those communities, hey, look, let's let the wheels of justice do what they do, no matter what color, race, creed, religion. We need to focus on allowing justice to happen. I mean, that's the traditional role of a church. Am I correct in saying that, Mr. Harvey, or should be? I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying should be. I mean, considering the season right now, do you think the evangelical community will step up and say, look, y'all, don't go out and act a fool?
No, I don't think so, because I think that community probably will support, demonstrations and protests and riots.
Well, I say that because they have not been supportive. Yeah, go ahead.
That community does not acknowledge January the 6th as a riot. Okay, there are people in the evangelical community,
and I mean the white evangelical community has been pro-Trump up until not necessarily as vocal as they were back in 2020 as they are now. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I
still think they silently support him.
Yeah.
And I think they silently support efforts put forth by the people who stormed the Capitol back January the 6th, 2021.
Yeah.
Because they still have not acknowledged that was a riot and that was a worst possible thing that anybody could have done to the country.
Yeah.
You talk about patriotism. All of that was unpatriotic, but you don't hear that outcry from the evangelical community or from white conservative Republicans.
Yeah,
they are supportive of the people who are arrested.
Yeah, yeah,
and serving time for storming the Capitol and creating a revolution and attempting to create a revolution and the insurrectionist acts that occurred on that day.
And, some of them are already out of jail. They were sentenced, and, for different reasons. They were supposed to be in for, just say, 14 months, and they do 4 months. So a lot of them are like back out on the street, and I'm sure they've got some venom in their veins.
Yeah, yeah.
No one has really, at this point, been severely punished.
No, not at all.
For what took place. But then, I've always contended that the person who should feel the brunt of the punishment is a person who organized the mob and incited the mob and directed the mob to do what they did.
Well, I look at the numbers.
Maybe down the road we'll get there.
Well, I look at the numbers, and right now, a lot of folks, when they look at the country, not breaking it out, but when you look at the overall country, I think 54% of people believe he did something wrong, when you look at the overall, that's everybody included. The majority of the country, they say, we believe he did something wrong. Now, whether or not we need to go to this extent to prosecute him is a different matter, but people believe he did something wrong.
Yeah, but then they'll fall back and say, probably a third of that 54% will then say, oh, but it's all political.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy by the Democrats to keep him from winning office again.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is not political.
No.
I mean, you do the crime, you do the time.
Yeah.
No
one's above the law.
No one's above the law.
Not even him.
Yeah.
Not even him.
But what's the implication of this for the presidency, though? When you look at the presidency, the office of the president, what does it do?
Well, the lesson we learned from the Nixon situation is that, in fact, nobody is above the law, because that was part of what Nixon's whole theory was, and his defense was, trying to stave off the impeachment, was that if the president did it, it was okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think we learned that, except Trump didn't learn that. The Nixon situation disproved that theory that the president could do wrong, and that if the president did wrong, he should be held accountable. Albeit in the Nixon situation, he was excused from the accountability by the pardon given to him by his successor, Gerald Ford. And so I think where we are now with the fact that charges have been brought, I think it sort of sends a message to any future president that you are not above the law. It's not that the king can't do anything wrong. That theory just doesn't work, because you can do wrong and you will be prosecuted if that happens. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the trial. I think Bragg has a real tightly woven indictment that we'll see on Tuesday. But the accusation of the impeachment, articles of impeachment, were very well done. The evidence presented was very well done. But that was in a political trial. And he was tried by people of his own party who refused to hold him accountable. Now, when we go inside of the court of law, you'll have 12 jurors who will be sworn to let their verdict speak the truth. When we select jurors, a process is known, a Latin term called voir dire. And what voir dire means is speak the truth. So we swear in jurors, and they are asked to, after hearing the evidence, to let their verdict in this case speak the truth of what that situation was.
Yeah.
And so if the system works the way it should, if Bragg has dotted all of his I's and crossed all of his T's,
right,
then Trump should be held accountable for this, for these offenses. But let's say he goes through this process and he beats the process, because you've got one citizen out there or two who says, I just can't convict the former president. It would just harm the country so much. Well, then at the end of this process, there will not have been any accountability.
Well, I hear that they're making an attempt to change the venue, to push if they potentially go to trial, push the venue out of New York, because they don't feel he can get a fair trial in New York. What do you think?
Can he? I mean, the crime happened in New York. I mean, what is there to suggest that he couldn't get a fair trial in New York? That's sort of like saying, delay.
Yeah,
I mean, he'd be doing it for delay purpose. That's just like Young Thug saying, try me in Peach County.
Yeah, but that's a tactic.
Where can Young Thug go?
Yeah,
where people do not know of him, his music, and some of the accusations that have been made about him.
Iowa,
nowhere really.
Any of those guys, or any
Iowa.
Iowa.
Oh, No, you laugh.
Well, you had Chidi on your show last.
Out there.
Yeah,
You had Chidi on your show last week, but one thing he failed to report about the Young Thug trial.
Mm-hmm.
The within the second week of the jury selections back in February, what are these people called? Some kind of citizens. What do they call themselves?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Go ahead. Well, tell me what they did.
Well, I mean, they wrote a letter to the court saying that the case should be moved to Seattle.
Okay.
Sovereign citizens.
But see what they
you didn't hear that, did you?
No, I didn't hear that.
That's what good reporters do.
Yeah, but I've been hearing.
I was in the courthouse the day that happened.
Really? But I've been hearing people talk about changing the venue. I've been hearing just to change the venue, not to a specific.
It's not going to change anything.
It's not good. There you go. I don't believe so. How can it?
It's not. Because look at it like this, and then that's people who haven't been anywhere. Mother has been some places. You think Seattle. Mm-hmm. Seattle has a thriving hip hop community. Yeah. You'll take places like Iowa, and even when they don't have black or urban radio,
I'm not talking about the urban area. I'm not talking about Des Moines. No,
I'm saying but they have a thriving hip hop community.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So
within the urban
if you
areas,
want to take it there, go ahead. Yeah. Because it's just it's almost like keeping it here. So those people who wrote that letter don't know what they don't know.
Y'all miss what I'm saying. All these are delay tactics. It's all
right. No, we get that.
It's not that they can't find a place. It's like Trump's whole MO is to delay, deny. That's what he does. And that's what he's going to do here. He's going to string this out for as long as he can. He's going to use the campaign. If he wins, he's going to use the presidency to keep himself out of jail and from losing his assets. Period.
Well, he's already put them in somebody else's name. So with those assets that he has. But Mr. Harvey, let me ask you this. Now, I know he is the king of the delay. So if he were to be found guilty, hello, Jesus, of any of these offenses, I don't think it'll be done in time for him not to run in 2024. But will they have to wait until, if he were to get elected dog catcher, would they have to wait until the end of his term as dog catcher to either complete the prosecution or whatever that legal process is, or to have him to get sentenced? Is he at a point where I know he's going to delay, but how long can he skirt something like that and not have to, pay the piper, so to speak?
His tactic would be to delay, but the courts have some input into his delaying tactics, and judges are accustomed to lawyers coming into court and delaying the process, and they know how to move cases along. And I think that Trump has created this record where the public and the court knows that he has these stalling tactics, and he'll raise any type of issue, whether there's any evidentiary basis for it, a law for it or not. And I think what we're going to now find is that the courts are going to quickly tell him to come to the point. Yeah. So if he files something frivolous, I think they're going to hear it right away, and they're going to require his attorneys to come in with whatever the legal argument is, or the evidence is that gets them to where they want to be.
They're trying to get the judge thrown out because this is the same judge who handled his business dealings, the nonprofit dealings.
Oh, was that like the scam? All the scam, like Trump University.
No. This is the recent case with Trump Org, where
Oh, okay.
So this is the same judge. So they want it thrown out. They want the judge thrown out. Yeah.
That's no basis for that. I mean, judges
my point.
Right.
They hear cases they hear multiple cases from defendants every day. I mean, my Lord, how many times has Young Thug been through the Fulton County court system here? Yeah. And who knows? Maybe the same guy sat in on all those cases. And usually when you have a career defendant, so to speak, the court system likes to sort of get them all together because they have some history with what has been going on. So, it's a tactic. He'll try it and he'll put forth an argument, and the judge will say yeah, nay, and then it'll get appealed, and the appellate courts, I think, are going to squeeze him. He's really got to come up with some convincing law or facts to say that this judge is biased, against him.
Well, and I'll ask you, with that being said, with this judge, what do you think not just with this judge, but with the upcoming cases? What do you think the implications will be on, for example, the Fulton County indictment? Then you're also looking at the Jack Smith investigation that's going on with the DOJ. I heard someone say on the Sunday shows that the ideal situation would be, now I'm just saying what this was said, that this Tuesday he walks in, I guess, what do you call it, arraignment, when he goes through the process. And then as he's walking out, Fani Willis is there.
Come through, though. We need Fanny. We need Fanny. We need Fanny to come through.
As he's walking out, he gets another one. Okay.
Yes, Fanny.
Then, as he's walking or whatever, he hears something from Jack Smith, who's handling the the Mar-a-Lago and the DOJ situation, the special prosecutor. So they're saying that what if it's an avalanche of charges all in a short window? What are your thoughts? I'll throw that.
I don't think they're going to happen, that quickly, that succinctly. But this is the first shoe to drop.
Yeah.
And there's two more to drop.
Yeah.
So this is a three-legged. Four shoes. Yeah.
But I'll be honest, and I know there are people out there who just have this I'm team, and I want this team. Honestly, I think in the political process, you're a political pundit. Harold Michael Harvey. If you win, you win. And to the winner, the spoils. We're fine with that. I think the country. I think for the most part in the system, that's fine. That happens. We know that. But in this case, I keep telling people who are just so adamant about defending 45 is that a lot of this is it's self-inflicted. It's like so much of it could have been avoided. When you've got the tapes, when you've got the checks, even though, and I heard today, a lot of people are trying to discredit Cohen because he's a felon, but one of the biggest, what was it? Just one of the greatest legal minds in America said, look, how better to convict a felon with another felon? It's just, that's how
prosecutors do it every day.
They do it every day.
Hey, Cohen became a felon because of Trump.
That's how they get their evidence, their proof. And then you got to stop and think about it.
Yeah.
What did he lie about?
Yeah.
He lied to protect Trump.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The person he would take a bullet for.
Yeah.
He who knows? But for that, maybe we would still think he's an honorable man.
Yeah, so true. Any final thoughts? I appreciate you coming in on Palm Sunday, and driving up, doing all your personal stuff, and then jumping on here at the last minute. He still got his church clothes on.
That's what
I'm saying. Go ahead, Harold Michael Harvey.
Hosanna.
Deacon Harvey. He still got his church clothes on.
Any last minute thoughts before you leave, sir?
Just be very vigilant. Be very careful because there's some mad folks out there, and they're going to be even madder after Tuesday.
Yeah.
And if we get down to a quick trial, they're going to be madder than they are Tuesday. So,
wouldn't that be nice?
Mad people do desperate things.
And hurt people. No, I just say, in the words of the late comic Robin Harris, I say, keep your eye on your luggage. And it was like I think it was Tamika Mallory said something back when the January 6th happened. She's like, Black people, stand down and stand back. This is not our fight. Let them get out there and act a fool and tear up and just, they can't blame it on us. And that was the other thing, is people not taking accountability. Normally they say, Black people tore up, like Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and they go and tear up their own neighborhoods.
On. Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Is that all you have? Is that all you got?
My favorite saying, not our circus, not our monkeys.
Yes.
So,
My fear is that they will bring the fight to our community, though.
Really? We got to talk
and
about
try to say that we started it. I agree with you, Deacon Harvey. Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to see.
But I still say take them up there over deep into the swamp where people sell pig heads, and take them up there to Bankhead, the part that's still black, and just drop them off.
Okay, all right. Y'all give it up for Harold Michael Harvey. Yes.
Wouldn't that be nice? I could dream.
Lord Jesus.
They might be able to give them some pig feet. Feed them some pig feet.
No, I would give them. No, that's too good for them. Give them the pig ear or the tail. Tell them to make a sandwich with it.
HaroldMichaelHarvey.com.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah. Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you.
Mr. Harvey, I want you to come back and talk about the alleged return and the downfall. And I don't think it's ever going to be what it ever was, but they still talk about trying to bring back Freaknik at Morris Brown this year. I don't see it.
I don't need that. That was an organic movement.
Yes.
That started for a particular reason, because kids couldn't get home for spring break, and
couldn't afford to go to Miami. You see what happened down there.
Well, I don't even think the mindset in the early 1980s, when it all started, the mindset of black kids wasn't to go to Miami. That was what white kids did. Yeah. We went home and we slept late and we ate. Yeah. Our mamas fed us. Yeah. That's what I did when I was in college, except for the fact that I played baseball. Yeah. And our spring trip was to Daytona. We stayed on the beach, and of course, all the white kids from the northern universities were down in the streets, butt naked, drunk as a skunk, and
trying to blame it on us.
But I saw them do it first.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Harold Michael Harvey. Let me give it up for again, HaroldMichaelHarvey.com. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you.
Take care.
All right, you too. All right, let's go ahead and let's go to break real quick. We'll come back and we'll do the tea with Tonya B. Okay, here we go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is BJ Murphy, and I want to talk to you about the BJ Murphy Show Redirecting Our Dollars campaign. Now, did you know that Black Americans have about $1 trillion in spending power? And since 2001, Black spending power has increased by 108%. The BJ Murphy Show, we are dedicated to helping aspiring African-American entrepreneurs launch and grow their businesses and provide advertising, media support, coaching, and resources. At the BJ Murphy Show, we're going to continue to be one of the most influential voices in Black America, boldly espousing economic opportunities for entrepreneurs, small business owners, and nonprofit organizations. So to find out how you can become a part of the movement, the Redirecting Our Dollars campaign in your city, reach out to me, BJ at bjmurphyshow.com. That's BJ at bjmurphyshow.com. Can't wait to hear from you.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sippin' the tea with Tonya B.
All right, Tonya B, what you got?
Oh, man, there's so much going on. I'm like, where do I start is more the question. Let's just get this Jonathan Major stuff out of the way. Can we agree on that?
Let's agree.
Okay, well, this whole hoo-ha started, the domestic dispute, I can't even say it. Anyway, basic British Becky tried to ruin this man's career, after she was claiming, I was assaulted, I was choked, I was strangled and harassed and all this crap. And now all of a sudden, she's in his DMs, oh, I'm sorry. She blamed it on mental crisis. She had to take her crisis behind over there and sit down somewhere. And now she said, I'll tell him it wasn't me. I shouldn't have been going through your phone and blah, 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 blah. And now she is recanting. The witnesses are recanting. And it's just really getting crazy. And I mean, I'm really kind of tired of it. But the thing about it is the damage has kind of been done. I know his attorneys have come forth with all these receipts saying he was the one that was the victim. I don't know if this chick's looking for a bag. Is she just she can probably try to come back and blackmail him later on. It's just really, really messy. And I think his career has taken a hit and will take a hit. Who knows if, his army, that campaign is even going to come back. Mm-hmm. I hope he does not lose that part in that the Marvel series of movies. He had a lot on the line.
Yeah.
He
and
really did.
They edited him out of the Creed commercials. If you notice, you only see Michael B. Jordan. So
yeah, I mean, so I'm like, man, I'm sure people are going, damn. But then, you have the other damning allegation of this young man that attended Yale Drama School with him, talking about, he never dated women of color, and he's been putting the pause on chicks since we were in college. And I'm surprised it took this long for it to come, to the forefront. So it's just it really is a hot mess. And, you always hope that when something like this hits the news, that maybe there'll be another story that will come and, just kind of push this, out of the news cycle. But
yeah.
That really hasn't happened yet.
Well, I think, a lot of these cats, and when it happens, we have to be, we are, because, we've been in the media. We're in
right.
Quote unquote journalists to some extent. We have to really be patient and allow the evidence to come out. I mean, unfortunately, in a situation with social media, people are jumping to conclusions, and they want, for the sake of drama, they want to see it. And it's unfortunate. Again, I always go back to the Nate Parker situation, and which the movie, the Nat Turner movie, was a brilliant movie that got Fortunately, he got paid up front because they bought the movie, and he had he was able to get funds from the movie. But you see a brilliant career killed. And again, you don't know unless you were there, unless you got receipts, unless you got video, unless you got pictures. So I say to people, wait until this thing kind of goes through the courts. I mean, nobody out there dragging, telling them to jump off the Gwyneth Paltrow train.
After all that crap.
So I think, we got to give them the benefit of the doubt until, same thing with Johnny Depp. There were just as many people who were for Johnny Depp as there were against Johnny Depp, but they wanted to see it in court. So we'll see. Exactly. Let's see what happens in court.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, who else may be going to court and who's getting sued? Unfortunately, the Roots crew, legendary Roots crew, which is basically the core of it now, is Questlove and Black Thought. And they had a founding member who passed away, Len Hubbard. He passed away of blood cancer. Yeah. So he wasn't able to tour. He didn't get to enjoy any of the success on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. And then there's Sean G., who's been their manager and advisor for years. They're getting sued by the estate of Len Hubbard, allegations of doing something funky with the money. I just hope they work it out. And I'm like, he was a founding member. He had a health issue. They were paying him up to a point. Then when he really got sick, when he needed it, they stopped. I hope they can work it out because we hate to see that happen. But Questlove, on the other hand, has had a great week. He's actually going to be working on a remake of the Disney movie, The Aristocats, that came out in 1970.
Remember that? Yeah. Saw it in the movie. Saw it in the theater.
Me too. Yeah, and he said that was one of his favorite childhood movies, so it really is special to him. But it's going to be a live-action hybrid kind of situation, kind of a first for Disney. But Quest is going to executive produce it and do the music, and he and Black Thought are writing the script. So it's interesting. And Questlove is kind of on a roll right now. Winning the Oscar for Summer of Soul. He's working on the Sly Stone documentary. He's actually putting out a book that the documentary is delayed indefinitely. So in the interim, he's putting out a book called Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself Again. But he's also not a one-trick pony. He's got this company called AUWA Books, and he's the publisher and editor-in-chief. And he's giving people of color an opportunity to tell their story. So I got to give him 5 on it for that.
Definitely, definitely. Go ahead.
So the Sly book comes out October 17th. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, I wish he'd do the movie on Sly.
Yeah, it's some kind of delay. Well, if they got to go down to the van by the river, to get Sly's permission. I don't know who his conservator or who his guardian is.
I see one of his daughters on Instagram has, it seems like she's the closest one to him because you see the most recent photos of him through her.
And you know who her mama is?
Who's her mom?
Cynthia, that played the trumpet in Sly's band. Yeah. Cynthia, Craig.
She's the one on Instagram who really elevates him.
Yeah, they kept that really, really quiet. But during the time that they were out there at the height of the popularity, Sly was back there slapping skins with Cynthia. And, the child, she really didn't get really get a voice, if you will, until they did, the unsung on Sly.
Wow.
So, we'll see what happens because, at the end of the day, you can't front on Sly. He is just Sly Stone. And that's kind of all there is to it.
Yeah. It's a shame we didn't really get to know him the way we could have,
Yeah, but before, the drugs really took a hold of him and before the mental illness really, just
brilliant
took him
guy.
over.
Brilliant musician. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that sometimes brilliant is a thing. Okay, now let's talk about this. I'm talking about this because people want to hear it. I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't believe in reality TV. It's not real. But my goodness, this whole mess with Latasha and Tamika Scott, the sisters in Xscape.
Yeah.
You stole the $30,000 check. No, I didn't. The mother backing her up because the mother took some of the money and gave it to the church. And then Tamika got the receipts and she got a copy of the check where Latasha and her husband, Rocky, who kind of reminds me of Kevin Hunter, Wendy Williams' ex-husband, they endorsed the check. It's those two are fighting each other. Now Tamar Braxton's trying to fight Candy Burris and her husband. And I think SWV is like, we're here to get our check. And they're just sitting back laughing because they don't have near that. I mean, that's some 7th grade drama to me.
Well,
I'm
let
like,
me ask you though,
women.
Latasha was the one on social media this week, live. She was trying to reconcile everything because she's on tour. Am I correct?
No, here's the gag. She left the group now. Wait, there's more.
Well, I'm just saying she's on tour.
Yeah. Now because
on
people
a
calling
tour.
her. Yeah, people are dragging her for filth. And here's the thing. Okay, you got this husband who clearly is part of your self-esteem issue, and then you're going to go on talking about you're signed to Motown Gospel, didn't tell the other girls. You got a gospel album up, but then you come out and say, oh, I'm in an open relationship because your husband's out here all up and through Atlanta Tootsie rolling.
Well,
having babies.
Is she on tour right now?
She's on a promo tour.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So she was on tour this week. And she was
anybody who would
Atlanta, Dallas, and she's doing concerts.
Well, here's the gag. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Little Miss Gospel up there in the winery. Her husband out there Tootsie rolling, like I said, knocking up chicks and making babies.
Allegedly. But go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Tonya.
Okay. Woo, woosah. Okay.
What you got next? Let's move on. Let's move on.
I don't make the news. I just report it. Okay, everybody's talking about Gayle King. Now, Gayle King is not leaving CBS this morning where she's making millions of dollars, double-digit millions. Yeah. And now, word from the curb is that she is going to go over to CNN. She's going to work one night a week on this show with Charles Barkley. So Gayle's base take-home pay for the year will be $25 million. She's getting $12 million for working 1 hour a week at CNN. I'm not mad at her.
Yeah. Charles has got to be happy, too. So, with all the endorsements...
the liposuction endorsement?
Yeah, he's doing a bunch of stuff.
I said, the liposuction endorsement? Okay. I didn't say that.
Views and opinions expressed.
It's on this show.
Those of Tonya B. Keep going.
I don't make news. I just report it. I don't make it. With all of this stuff I've been talking about, with all of these celebrities and these crypto crimes, there's been another one that's come up. I'm like, when are y'all going to learn?
Yeah.
And now, see, when the Securities and Exchange Commission gets involved, they're not playing. Now they're going after that rapper, The Game.
Yeah.
And it's like a class action suit. They were failing to file certain papers and didn't file reports and things along that line. And they are coming for him because they didn't file reports. It's like, okay, you got all the people, giving up all this crypto. Where did it go?
Yeah.
And then I don't understand. Well, I get it, but I get it. Snoop Dogg, please get out of this fight. He's another one. He is co-founder of this company called Schiller, which is a live streaming platform that is powered by crypto.
Yeah.
And he and Eminem put out a record in the whole 9 yards. But you got, Neo, Akon, Shaq, Steph Curry, Lindsay Lohan, and now The Game. I'm like, come on, y'all.
It's crazy.
You got to do your due diligence. I think people got in on that thinking it was a quick payday, and it didn't work. Yeah. It really did not work.
But it's a situation, in my opinion, where overall crypto is already in trouble. So, the celebrity side of it just exacerbates the whole problem with crypto itself. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When it's almost, there's so many, we got a trail of trends that celebrities jumped on that weren't real, that went away. And this is going to be one of them.
For a quick buck. But when you, like I said, but when the SEC is involved,
it's ugly. It's bad.
And so, they're already getting sued. There's lawsuits flying everywhere. So it's really just become a mess. Yeah. And lastly, I just got to say, shout out to Mary J. Blige. I was going to talk about her last week. She got shout out at the Grammys, but now she's got a book out called Mary Can, and it's about turning your darkness into light. It's for kids to raise their self-esteem. And she says she still struggles with that. But, she's got the Strength of a Woman conference and concert coming to Atlanta Mother's Day weekend. She had a lot of heavy hitters last year, but she's got like the new girls, Money Long, Summer Walker, but she does have Lauryn Hill. And they're actually going to kick it off with a night at the City Winery with Robert Glasper. So got to let a brother come in and help out. And just, I really hope that, she continues with this. And it's like, why should I get out here and tour and make somebody else rich? Let me get my own thing. Yeah. So I just kind of give her a 5 on it. She's doing well with Power Book 3. Her talk show's doing well. So as much as that icky ex-husband of hers tried to make her think she had no talent, nobody wanted her, and that her career was over, success is the best revenge. So I just want to say 5 on it to MJB.
Good for her. Good for her. Good for her. Hey, I do want to, not a whole lot this week that I've already mentioned most of the stuff I'm already watching that are series. But I do want to mention that I haven't mentioned Grand Crew is back. So if you have Peacock or you have NBC, and it's live, of course, every week. But definitely check out Grand Crew. It's on Peacock. Wrapped up a lot of loose ends from season 1. I'm not sure. I hope it makes it into season 3.
I hope so. I hope it stays on Peacock because they can do a little bit more. Let me just say this real quickly.
Yeah, I agree.
Anybody that has Comcast Xfinity, just know that you get Peacock Premium free. So don't pay for it because it comes with your subscription to Comcast Xfinity. And that is how I watch everything on Peacock.
Yeah, you can get, there are a lot of first-run movies that drop on Peacock.
Yeah.
And definitely, again,
they got the black section.
I recommend Grand Crew. It's not for everybody, but I think it's one of those comedy shows that kind of, gives you a different angle because, you got so much like BMF and Power.
Yeah, but
you see the gangster side a lot, and you don't. It's a good balance. It's a good balance.
I think even for me, because I know you talked about how you watch it. I tried. I can't get it, and I think it's like it's an acquired taste, if you will.
It's just
now I am more. I'm more open to Grand Crew, and Harlem's done. So who knows when that's going to come back? Yeah. That could be another year and change, and that whole thing, and all these other ones. And the timing's perfect because like Godfather of Harlem is wrapping up. Yeah, Harlem is wrapping up, and now Grand Crew doesn't have so much competition. So I'm gonna give it another shot. I will commit to giving it another shot.
I'll tell you, for me, sometimes you just don't want to deal with the tragedy.
That too.
I can't deal with Boys in the Hood times 4 every week. You know what I'm saying?
PTSD. That's PTSD.
So I have to get a balance. I got to get a balance.
Yeah.
A couple of things, just some leftovers. Shirley Ralph, and I want to get your thoughts on this. She had already shared the sexual assault allegations, and she never mentioned a name. She just said it was a famous TV judge years ago, I think when she was at UPN. Also, she had mentioned she was allegedly encouraged by the network to stay silent and to avoid bad press. But, basically, now I'm just saying this because it's in the news and it's also in social media. But Judge Joe Brown came out of the woodworks and basically said, look, you can keep talking about this, but if you do, expect a defamation suit coming soon.
Well, that means thou dost protest too much. Does that mean he's guilty? I mean, that didn't make the tea this week, but I mean, if it wasn't you, why are you tripping?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it's unfortunate. And I hope, without a doubt, you want to, there are things that a lot of these actresses have gone through that they just want to bring to light when they have a platform to do so. And that's what she's doing. But I hope they can work that out so it doesn't get too ugly and it starts messing with her career.
And the other thing,
because she's got a hot career right now.
No, right now she's hot. But I think had she come forward back then, I think during the Moesha era, it would have been like said, please don't be quiet. You'll be blackballed. No one's going to believe you. Now, and I'm glad she waited. Yeah. Actually, I mean, because again, she's had to carry this on her for 20 some odd years.
Well, you look at the trail of black actresses or actresses of color, look at Rosie Perez and what she did with the Spike Lee situation, Do the Right Thing, where, she didn't really want to partake in some of the on-screen, what we see on screen when we look back at Do the Right Thing. But she's come to grips with the fact that it happened, and she's also made good with Spike. She kind of moved beyond it for her sanity.
Yeah.
The other thing, just a couple of quick things. Can you bear us, y'all? If y'all love Grownish, this is going to be the final season 6.
It's time.
It's time for it to go.
It's time.
Also, I guess I don't know if you mentioned this in the news. 2023, the Essence Festival. Lauryn Hill and Meg Thee Stallion are going to be
Miss Lauryn Hill. Yeah, and see now, I think Lauryn Hill's realized she got to get this bag now. She's not showing up 2-3 hours late because
you know what I say. You know what I say though.
She won't get paid.
You know what I say. As long as. Come on, I love me some Lauryn, but
no, she get. I mean, you gotta give it to her.
Yeah.
She is still working and headlining off of one album. Okay,
it was
almost like
album.
Belle Biv DeVoe. It was great. It was classic.
Even though the whole situation with her not giving credit, irks a lot of people in the business.
Yeah,
that's
true.
A lot of musicians, but it's still iconic.
She got her karma. She went to jail. But let me just say this. I don't mean to cut you off. But, there will not be a Fugees reunion, not because Wyclef went and took all that money from the people and from the Haiti earthquake, but because Pras is probably going to jail, not jail, jail. I mean, they said now they're accusing him of being a spy for China, and there's all this misappropriation and this, that, and the third. It's really, it's unfortunately, and it's just sad.
Yeah, it's huge. It's going to be massive and not in a good way.
They're going to hang him out to dry. So I don't know, but I just say this: was it worth it?
Yeah.
You will get caught. And then when he went back to Haiti and started trying to become really politically high profile, they're going to dig into your background. He knew what he did. I guess he was just hoping. I mean, there's no way to avoid it. So
yeah. Agreed.
If you saw the Fugees in concert, remember what you saw, because that shit ain't happening again.
Yep. Real quick, I don't know if you know Eva Marcel, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Did you know her husband? They're following Michael Sterling.
Remember Michael Sterling? Yeah,
I don't remember Michael.
He ran for mayor unsuccessfully
in Atlanta.
Yes, he did.
Okay, I wasn't familiar with the name.
Yeah, during the like between the Keisha Lance Bottoms and the other guy, Kasim era. So it was like he wasn't in with the people. So but now he's saying he's going to fight for his marriage, and she's like, I'm done. I'm like, Eva, I get it, but honey, you got to make better choices. You got a daughter.
Well, there you go. Any last minute thoughts? Any shout outs or anything like that?
I want to remind you all that April 4th, Little Richard, I Am Everything hits the movie theaters. April 4th, Monique, her comedy special comes to Netflix. Don't forget April 5th, Air, the story of Michael Jordan hits theaters with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Mm-hmm. And also, I know I talked about this, but I wish you had come to see Spinning Gold. I know I've been talking about that movie for a year.
How did it do?
It did well. So, it's one of those, it's an independent film, but I will say, I don't know whether Wiz Khalifa actually went and sat down with George Clinton to just embody the spirit of George Clinton. Yeah. But I got to give him that. Let us see as Gladys Knight does her thing. And even Jason Derulo as Ron Isley, is pretty cool. And did you know that when Neil Bogart resurrected, so to speak, when Gladys and the Pips left Motown, they went over to Casablanca Buddha, which is indie. Mm-hmm. And, Gladys blew up with Midnight Train to Georgia. And then there was the Claudine soundtrack and things along that line. Mm-hmm. And allegedly, Berry Gordy was pissed and sent the mob over there after Neil Bogart. So a lot of
in the movie?
Major labels were trying to shut him down because he took the people nobody wanted, like P-Funk and the Odyssey Brothers, even like Donna Summer,
Kiss.
The Village People, Kiss, and Bill Withers, and he actually rejuvenated their careers, and they didn't think he could do it. So you know what? If you get, it'll be on streaming in a minute. But I
remember my Parliament and that Casablanca,
the label. Mothership.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
So
Oh, one other thing I got to give him credit for. You remember "Oh Happy Day" by the Edwin Hawkins Singers?
Yeah.
If it weren't for Neil Bogart, that song that is still to this day an international, multicultural hit would have never seen the light of day because Neil Bogart went to Edwin Hawkins and said, put out "Oh Happy Day."
Yeah, very cool. Okay. Just a couple of shout outs for me. I got to say thank you to Big Mike and Tiff over at Damn We Grown podcast. Thanks for checking us out.
Hey, Tiff.
Also, Gina and the franchise. Thank you so much for checking us out. All the folks, thank you. We appreciate you checking us out. Kim at the How Now podcast. Appreciate the shout outs. And don't forget, you can follow us on social media. We especially, again, I go over to YouTube. Follow us. We are trying to get, because we really haven't been promoting the YouTube channel, because there are a couple of ways to watch us. You can watch us and actually communicate with us through Riverside FM, or you can, go to YouTube. We don't always communicate and in real time, but, we'll see your messages. Live tapings every Sunday, but subscribe, hit the bell, hit the notification bell, and we'll be there. Also, Twitter at This Is the G Pod. And I don't have anything else, but we got to do this.
Ooh, we need it.
Yeah, here we go.
No, and I want to also.
No, let me do this, and we'll come back. Okay, here we go.
I didn't come here to preach to you today.
Here's your inspirational moment with Vi.
Treasure your faith in Christ more than anything else, and do what you know is right. Each time you deliberately ignore your conscience, you're hardening your heart. Over a period of time, your capacity to tell right from wrong will diminish. As you walk with God, He will speak to you through your conscience, letting you know the difference between right and wrong. Be sure to act on those inner tugs so that you do what is right, then your conscience will remain clear. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verses 19. Cling to your faith in Christ and keep your conscience clear. For some people have deliberately violated their conscience. As a result, their faith has been shipwrecked. We'll be saying, people, you remember there are times in your life when your conscience tells you, man, don't do that. You know that is wrong. Or your conscience tell you, hey, man, why are you doing that? That's really not your conscience. That's God telling you to do right. Listen to it. Listen to your conscience. That's God talking to you. So people, keep the faith. Amen. Amen.
Amen, y'all. Yeah, appreciate
Hallelujah.
it. And don't forget, coming up next week, we're taking a break. Actually, Tonya being by, definitely. I'm just waiting to see what happens with this. Ain't it crazy that Cheeto Jesus is going before the court?
Don't even put Jesus with his name. That's blasphemy.
He's going before the court on Holy Week. So we'll see.
How about that?
How about that?
No religion at all. Speaking of that, I just want to say, and I'm
on watch.
What I said about your conscience, and clearly he has none. Yeah. But just to let keep in your thoughts and prayers the people in Mississippi.
Absolutely.
The people in it was Illinois got hit. And it was actually, believe it or not, it came as far north as Delaware. There was a loss of life due to a tornado last night in Delaware.
That was crazy.
Ain't nobody safe up in her.
Nope, not at all. Y'all keep your eyes to the skies this season.
Yeah.
You know what it is, okay? And with that, episode 170 is in the can, and we are out of here. Peace and power to the people. Have a great week, y'all.
Keep your eye on your luggage.
You've been listening to the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B. The G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.